Oh, this kind of sounds bad.
I apologize. This is the first one I found.
So, we have a different show now. We're still going to be doing Wrastleboys weekly reviews, but this is a new series I thought up while I was at work and somewhat lucid. I was kind of high on energy drinks when I thought of it.
Are you drinking that one that burns your stomach again?
No, I'm never drinking that again. That was a fucking nightmare. I am Allie.
I'm Mega Fighter.
And I'm the special guest.
He's special guest. Hello,
He's the guy we talked about last episode, who
Yeah.
wasn't there for our Virginia show.
Both shows were in Virginia, and you weren't there.
I am the resident Virginian, Rob.
So, I guess I was listening to a different podcast, and I sort of thought, I kind of found it really interesting that one of the guys who was doing a review of an episode of something didn't tell the other two what he was going to review before he began. And I thought, what if we turned that into an entire premise where each of us review something and the other people in the fucking review don't know what it is?
Yes.
This is kind of a way to make up for the fact that for the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks of WWE in 2002, nothing has fucking happened.
They've fallen into a rut of sameness, and that's kind of affected the quality of the show a little bit.
Yeah, we kind of got we got a little tired.
Let me guess. Open up 20-minute Triple H promo.
Surprisingly, no, but you're probably gonna get the same Dudleys versus Spike and Taz match.
Holy shit. We should probably stop this music now.
We can cut this.
Also, his name's Rob.
I did. I thought I said that at one point.
No, I just called you
didn't.
special guest.
You just said special guest. This is Slick Rob. We did name check him on our last episode.
So there are some rules that we must follow in the series, so let me tell you about. First rule, it has to be any media with a wrestler in it. So pretty much it doesn't have to be a wrestling show. It could be movies, TV shows, guest appearances.
So I'm reviewing One Night in China. No.
You could. You could.
No.
You could.
I refuse.
Second of all, it needs to be at least a couple minutes long, so it isn't just like, I watched a commercial with Sting in it. The end. You know.
He beat the shit out of that 12-year-old.
And the third rule is it can't be from the show we're reviewing. So no SmackDowns from 2002, no Raws from 2002, no pay-per-views from 2002. Unless you're
it's
like
a different color
unless you're
company.
a different company. It's like, "Oh, I got a TNA thing." And it's like, fuck it,
Yeah.
let's watch that. Who goes first is my question.
I have one that's really good. So whether you want to start with that or you want to end with that is a good question.
Because, like I said, we all watched different shows, and we didn't tell the other person what we watched.
Yeah.
I kind of fucked up, and I gave some hints, but
You gave hints,
I'll
but I don't
make
know
sure
the
not
full
to do
picture.
that next time.
All I know is that there are matches in yours. That that could
There's
be
matches
any.
in mine too, so
Yeah, we both watched wrestling shows, but how do we determine who goes first? I didn't realize we had this conundrum before we started.
I had a few possibilities. One was like chronological order. One was by length of the show you watched. But I don't think we ever discussed anything definitive.
All right, how about this? We'll draw straws in the way of we will say the year of the show that we watched, and
Okay.
earliest goes first.
I feel like it's gonna be me then.
1995.
Mega Fighter, what's yours? I have to look
Rob-
mine up.
Okay, 1989.
Oh my god.
1988.
Holy shit! I thought I was gonna win that one for sure. Okay.
I guess our guest Rob goes first in what he gets to review. I thought we were going to save the best for last, but well, we drew straws.
No, I guess in this case we're gonna start with the best and then end
Work our way down.
And then garbage.
So I watched a movie for this review, and it is arguably the best movie starring a wrestler.
Oh, and also you
Ooh.
have to start it with. If you're gonna name the title, you have to do this. So let me tell you about Gimmick.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
So
don't
let,
worry. He's hinted. Okay, go.
so let me tell you about John Carpenter's They Live.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh,
Haven't watched this one. I know
we
some
almost
vague
did.
things about it. A bunch of people, like people on the internet and political weirdos sort of like miss the point entirely of the movie. Uh,
Yeah,
We
so
almost did an episode of Riddler's podcast about this, the
So-
Edge of Reality.
so I'm not going to really touch on the politics too much in this one. But
Reaganomics.
because that's a whole can of worms I don't want to get into.
It would be risky if we start talking politics on this show.
Let's stay not political for the most part.
Yes.
Yeah, I will touch on the points of the story. Um,
Oh my
And
god,
I
if I'm
will-
going last, this is gonna suck.
Oh God, yeah.
well, you could switch it if you like, but here's I will give you a brief summary of They Live, and then I will talk about some of the the highlights. They Live, which I am a huge John Carpenter fan, and like you, I had not seen this movie before last night. I watched it last night for this show.
Oh my god.
So, and I have no idea why I didn't watch it until this point. So the movie stars, as you'd imagine, or you might have heard, Roddy Piper.
I think he had
Um,
like a brief hiatus. Like-
He had left after like WrestleMania 3.
Oh
we don't
shit,
know
I'm
where-
sorry, we missed the other gimmick we were doing for so let me tell you about where we have to guess what it is before they say it, but it's fine, we'll do it.
Damn it, fuck it. This is more fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yes. Too late to put that cat back in the bag.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag.
But I mean, I could have said it's a movie starring Roddy Piper, and your guesses would have to be either They Live or Welcome to Frogtown.
Hell comes to Frogtown, excuse
Yeah,
you.
it was Hell
Oh,
Comes to
excuse
Frogtown,
me.
where you see a woman's breasts.
And Roddy Piper has a bomb attached to his dick. Absolutely true.
I feel like you've chosen poorly. No.
I know you could have picked the other 1988 classic.
Either way, one thing we'll evaluate about this movie is whether it was worth it, because Roddy Piper got into a fight with Vince McMahon about this movie. Vince didn't want him to do this movie and told him, quote, according to a interview Piper did a couple of years later in the early 2000s, Vince McMahon told him, quote, "You'll have another movie in a couple months." And Piper told him, "Not with John Carpenter, you won't."
I mean, it is
That-
John Carpenter.
That is fascinatingly hypocritical of Vince. Given how often in the WWE documentaries, whenever they bring up Hulk Hogan, like after his first run with the WWF, how he left because Vince Sr. didn't want me to do the Rocky movie. And it's like, and so you're
He
saying
did the
that-
Rocky movie before he went to WWF. He was
But
in
no, he had-
AWA.
Well, no, he went to WWF and like had a run before he became like Hulk Hogan, or when he was like big star Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Here's the thing that's very interesting. I feel like the reason that he was so bugged about it was because he didn't have an in. Like, he wasn't going to get a cut of it.
Exactly.
Most likely.
So, which fits in very well with this movie. So getting back to it,
Capitalism.
funny enough, the movie opens with Roddy Piper walking around. He's basically homeless and looking for work.
Does he have a name?
He's listed in the credits as Nada,
Okay.
N-A-D-A.
Just doesn't have
did-
one.
He does not have a name.
That's interesting. Okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
He goes through this entire movie without being named.
So he's just Roddy Piper.
You could just say Roddy Piper going through the streets.
In my notes, he's only referred to as Roddy. So he's looking for work. He's originally from Cleveland,
Cleveland.
and apparently all the banks shut down there. The town went broke. He's looking for work in I forget. I think this is set in Los Angeles.
Most likely.
It was probably filmed in Los Angeles at least.
Yes.
To be
It
might have been filmed in Canada.
It is definitely set in Los Angeles.
If
So
it's set in Los Angeles, then it's filmed in Canada.
He's going around to different places looking for work. His first stop, where we really hear him talk, is at a government office looking for work, and they have no compassion there and tell him they have nothing for him. While he's walking along his journey, he comes across a guy on the street preaching about our the masters looking over us, which will be a theme we'll touch on later.
Master.
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 Then he walks up on a construction site, asks for a job, and basically gets it, which is either that is something that happened in the 80s that just doesn't happen anymore, or this is movie magic.
I was gonna say, can I work here? Sure. Pee in a cup. Come on over. No, actually, you don't need to pee in a cup. Everyone's on cocaine.
Well, here's the entire scene. I can tell you because I watched it a couple times because I couldn't really hear it that well. The entire scene is he walks up. He's like, "You guys could use some help, maybe." Well,
maybe.
Can I get a job? Well, this is a union job. Okay, well,
You like unions?
Can I talk to the shop steward in that case?
Oh, so that's why Vince didn't like this movie.
Cut, and then Roddy Piper is out there shirtless working on the construction site.
Got all his paperwork done.
Yeah. I made a note is I wonder if one of the conditions of casting a wrestler was that they had to work shirtless at one point in the movie. John Carpenter's sitting there smoking his cigarette. I need more women to watch my movies.
Ah, fuck yeah.
Lift that. My John Carpenter sounds a lot like my Vince McMahon.
Lift that bag of quick, Creed.
I mean, to be fair, what does a John Carpenter impression usually sound like?
Someone with a horrible, horrible smoker's lung.
Again, I'm shirtless.
Okay, that was very creepy. I'm gonna move on from that.
I mean, have you seen John Carpenter? I'm not entirely sure he's human anymore.
He does look like the Crypt Keeper, but
are you saying that all of John?
Respect.
I was gonna say, are you saying that all of John Carpenter's The Thing was just John Carpenter trying to recruit people for a movie? Dog splits in half. Hey, it's John Carpenter. I'm thinking of making a film.
You want in Kurt Russell?
So, speaking of The Thing, on the construction site, Roddy Piper runs into our other main character, Keith David.
Keith David.
Whose name here is Frank.
So, Frank and Nada.
Yes. Keith, I was gonna call him Keith, but Frank notices that Roddy Piper is carrying around a backpack with a sleeping bag on it. He's like, "Hey man, you need a place to stay." And so he shows him basically to this homeless collective that he stays at.
Hobo Hotel.
like it's a hobo commune.
Hobo commune.
Like there's a bunch of tents and sort of shacks
So like
out in a
like a
field.
tent city or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
across from a church.
That
And
is
they
some
got TVs out
that is
there, so
some
they got
Oregon shit
electricity.
right there.
I mean, it is California. That does sound about right.
So they have TVs out there at the hobo camp, or a TV that's showing the news or what commercials. And this guy keeps cutting in with sweaty close-ups of his face, talking about the illusions of what's around us. It's very similar. If you've ever seen another John Carpenter film, Prince of Darkness, it's got a very similar feeling to the dream sequences in that, which that's because they got those by filming a TV. But uh, he's hacking through the signal, and the one of the hobos complains that that's the second time this week that someone's hacked into their TV signal and complains about it.
First time was a
Which,
dude dressed like Max Headroom.
yes, and spanking his ass. But when we're looking at this, they react pretty much the same way you would if some crazy sweaty guy started talking about the invisible masters around you. You'd go,
The fuck?
what the fuck is this? And why are you interrupting my TV?
When are you gonna start talking about Brain Force?
Brain force.
All right.
No, that's not for another couple of years.
Take Vitality Shield with iodine.
Oh my god.
So there's this church across from the hobo commune, and for some reason, Roddy Piper is suspicious of the fact that one of the guys at the guy in charge of the hobo commune, is going into the church at 4 a.m. Personally, I would just mind my own business, but
Why are you making church pudding at 4 a.m.? As I lost control of my life.
So eventually, Roddy Piper goes into the church to investigate. He hears like choir rehearsal in there, and when he walks in, there's a tape playing. The it's piping out the singing, and it looks like he walks into a meth lab. It's a lab, but it looks like someone's cooking in there.
This fucking Heisenberg turns around.
Yeah, but
Get
instead
outta
of
here,
Walter
buddy.
White making meth, it's sunglasses on the table and boxes everywhere. So he leaves, while the people in the church are apparently the people who are sending out the signal that's hacking into the TV. That night, in a thing that is very appropriate to the times we live in, and I will not comment on it further, the police roll in and steamroll the hobo commune with riot shields and batons at the ready,
Dinner.
and basically beating the shit out of anyone who tries to stop them.
Just while they're screaming, have you ever taken a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia?
Oh god.
And respect your law and order, serving hard time.
Surprisingly, it's not Big Boss Man.
Big Ball Man.
Not Big Ball Man.
It is not Big Boss Man. But it is a veritable army of police. In the middle of this, Roddy Piper rescues a kid and stays put in a abandoned building with him until morning, when he goes to investigate the church and takes a pair of the sunglasses. And that's where the story actually starts.
I really hope we're more than 10 minutes into the movie.
We are.
Okay,
We
good.
That's like 30 minutes into the movie. Then the rest of it is him putting on the sunglasses and seeing pretty much, if you've ever looked up this movie, this has been spoiled for you.
Yeah, pretty much obey, consume,
Obey,
reproduce.
consume, marry, have children, stay asleep is on there multiple times.
You know, it'd be weird and kind of funny in a weird way. Like, he's looking at a bunch of billboards, and then he puts on the sunglasses, and then it's just like, obey, consume, stay asleep, don't wake up, and then Coca-Cola. Like, the Coca-Cola one just stays the same.
It turns out they're not taken over by aliens. They're just
Nope,
evil on their own.
No, they're just evil on their own. You know,
That is great. I wrote down here. I don't know what this was. Oh, okay. So he walks around and sees all these aliens. And when he starts reacting to them and calling them ugly, like
you ugly.
he straight up says to a lady, like, you put your face in an acid bath. They apparently have a watch that can communicate with each other, and the police come for him, which leads to a great scene where Roddy Piper fucking clotheslines a cop.
Hell yeah.
Fuck you.
And of course, the famous scene where he walks into the bank, and probably the most famous line from this movie: "I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum." And then proceeds to
Time to kick gum and chew ass.
Yes. And
Dick
I'm all
kick
out
'em.
of ass.
Dick kick 'em.
And he just starts blowing away the aliens.
No.
So basically, to anyone who doesn't have the sunglasses, he just murdered a bunch of people.
Yeah, it does just look like a bank shooting just happened.
Yes.
He didn't even rob them. He just murdered people.
Fucking killing people.
This movie also predicted drones, because a drone does one of the alien devices is a drone that spies him, which he also shoots. I'm gonna speed along because it's a long sequence of him seeing aliens and then shooting and running away from the police. He does meet up with a lady called Holly, who he abducts at gunpoint.
Holy.
And makes her drive him away from the police.
Holly's a human, right? Or no?
Yes.
Holly is a human. Her name, she's played by Meg Foster, who, I guess her other most famous role is Eva Lynn from the Masters of the Universe
You know.
movie. I mean, I looked at her and I was like, I've seen her in stuff. But that was the biggest role she had for some reason. I could have sworn I've seen her in something else.
She's got to be in something else.
She's been in a lot of stuff, but it's a lot of trash.
It is a lot of trash.
No offense. She's made a good career.
She made her money, so whatever.
She also got to throw Roddy Piper out of a window in this movie.
Get the fuck out.
So he goes over to the TV at one point. He's like trying to convince her. He's like, "You work at a cable company? Well, I'm telling you, there's stuff on the TV." And as she throws him out a window, she smashes his head and pushes him out the window.
Are they on like a... What story are they on?
It's like one of those stilt houses in the hills. So he falls a considerable distance.
Ah, okay.
He'll be fine. He knows how to fall.
Yeah, he's a fall down man. So this leads to him. He leaves the sunglasses behind, and he has to go find new ones in the trash can where he buried the first ones.
I mean, Colin, you guys keep going with the conversation.
Yeah, he does so, and finds he has to go into a garbage truck and get them. Prior to this, he does go and try and find Frank at the construction site, and Frank tells him to get the fuck away from him because he just murdered a bunch of people.
Hey, you murdered a bunch of people.
Basically, he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? I want nothing to do with you. Stay the hell away from me."
You fucking freak. No.
So when Roddy Piper gets the glasses, a whole box of glasses out of the garbage truck, Keith David walks by and he says, "Hey, I got your pay, a week's pay for you. Now get the hell out of my life." Because I guess Keith David's character, Frank, is a nice enough guy to, yes, say that his coworker is indeed a murderer, but hey, he did work that one day on that construction site.
Here's your 8 hours pay.
Seriously, we only saw him work one day.
Since this is the 80s, here's like, I don't know, like $40.
Yeah. So what follows, what is about to follow is probably the greatest fight scene outside of a martial arts movie, where Roddy Piper is like, "Hey, put these glasses on." And Keith David is like, "Fuck you, I'm not listening to anything you say. Leave me alone."
Put on the sunglasses. Come on.
And this line isn't repeated as much as the eat bubblegum and kick ass line, but I believe it's just as good. He says, "Hey buddy, the way I see it, you got two choices. Either put on the glasses or start eating trash can."
I'd rather eat trash can. Just starts fucking chewing the trash can.
So what follows is a 10-minute long fight between Roddy Piper and Keith David over the sunglasses.
Just they fucking scrap in the back alley, right?
Yes, and they keep it. It has so many false finishes.
Did Piper go for a pinfall at some point? Or
You know what? Like 2 minutes into it, he gives him a backdrop. He gives Keith David a backdrop.
Take this, Keith David.
At one point, Roddy Piper is getting his shit pushed in, and he goes for a low blow, and Keith David catches it and calls him a son of a bitch.
Those are heel tactics. What?
They are.
No.
So there are several points where Keith David has Roddy Piper beaten and just tries to walk away, and Roddy Piper comes back and starts hitting him again.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, "Just put on the fucking glasses."
Put him on, asshole. Why is he so insistent on not putting on the sunglasses?
Well, at first it's like, "I'm not going to listen to you," and now it's like, "You punched me in the face. Fuck you."
I mean, yeah.
And towards the end, it's, "You put a board through my car. Fuck you."
You ruined my car, man.
I don't know if it's his car, but Keith David reacted after Roddy Piper swung that board through the back windshield.
So
Like
it's
it
like
was his car.
it's like legit 10 minutes.
It is like legit 10 minutes. It keeps going. And you know how it ends? A fucking suplex.
Suplex.
Roddy Piper suplexes him.
So he wins by suplexing Keith David.
Yes.
Does he put on the glasses?
Yeah, he's like, all right, now you're gonna put on the fucking glasses. And he grabs him and he puts the glasses on him. And Keith, so I should mention earlier, I saw someone from a certain web series say that this whole scene makes no sense. And I'm going to argue against that. Yes, it is a very gratuitous scene, but not really. It's just sort of excessive.
It's just kind of a weird wrestling match
Yes.
against Keith
I'm back,
David.
by the way.
We're talking about the fight scene in.
Oh yeah, the big fight between
Yes.
Keith David and Roddy Piper.
So I have concluded the summary of it, but I'm saying this scene is entirely necessary in the
absolutely.
story. Someone argued that it was complete in a different web series that this was completely unnecessary. That you could have just gone, hey, can you put on these glasses and ask nicely? Piper did that. And it didn't work because the other guy saw him murder people on the news.
Hey, you killed people. What the fuck? I'm not putting on the stupid glasses.
I feel like anyone who says they should have cut this, it's like, why?
So Frank is the only person that Roddy has come across that has been nice to him before and has been willing to stick his neck out. He's not willing to at this moment because he thinks Piper's a murderer. But he's the only shot he's got at someone believing him. The last person who he tried to get believe him threw him out a window.
I mean, yeah.
So this is his last shot. So what follows is a 10-minute fight scene ending in a suplex.
Like, I haven't seen this fight in full, and I really feel like I should.
You should. It's amazing.
But I think one of the reasons why people like it so much, I think, is the Foley work. Foley is like Foley art. Like
the Foley is very good.
That is such an underappreciated.
Did they do
art,
like Did they do like the Kung Fu movie Foley, where it sounds like everyone's just like punching bags of hay?
Yeah, like the punches sound just so impactful.
And it feels very real. I mean, it's excessive to the point of why are you still fighting? But it's very real in that everything feels like a fight between two guys on the street, except one of them happens to do suplexes and backdrops.
I'm trying to think of like, when I think of excessive 80s movie fights, I think of two, but I don't know the name of the second one's movie. I think of this
Demolition Man.
I was gonna say, I think of this one and this other fight where like two shirtless men are fighting in a factory, and then one guy gets his eye impaled on a meat hook.
Undefeatable.
Yes, Undefeatable.
Yes, absolutely. That
starring Cynthia Rothrock.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The fucking meat hook factory scene where it's just like they start ripping at he's like ripping at the guy's shoulder, and the dude just takes his shirt off, and they're just slapping like sweaty muscles.
Yes,
for like a good 5 minutes.
So
gotta watch a review of that again.
I'm nearing the end of where I took notes because I was just transfixed by the movie at a certain point. I will say it is interesting that after Keith David puts on the sunglasses, after Frank puts on the sunglasses,
Keith David,
yeah,
Childs,
yes. After he puts on the sunglasses and they start getting along now, they both check into a hotel, and Roddy Piper starts talking about how his character in character talks about how he ran away from home at age 13. And I'm like, wasn't Piper homeless in real life at age 14?
Yep.
So I'm wondering how much of this is script and
Well,
how
I was
much of
gonna
this is
say,
Roddy.
since Roddy doesn't even have a fucking named character, I think it might just be I'm Roddy Piper in a movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. After being expelled
Yes.
from junior high after having a switchblade in school and falling out with his father, Toombs left home and stayed in youth hostels.
That's
Oh.
pretty much what he says in the movie, except he talks about his father beating him.
Back in the day, my father whooped my ass.
Yes. So after this point, their their plan is to go find the church people who were creating that hack signal in the first place and created the sunglasses. Um, and they go to find them, and they do. And when they meet up with them, uh, several neat things. One, they no longer need to use the sunglasses. Now they've got contacts,
Huh.
which is good on several levels. One, because now you can actually see your actor's eyes, and two, it's just very convenient.
It's
I mean,
very convenient.
it does mean that now they don't have the like visual identifier for the aliens of they're wearing the sunglasses. Get them. I assume that's also part of like in the story why they had them.
Right. Um, so they're planning on what to do next, and Holly is there, and uh, while they're planning for basically Frank and Roddy to be the assault squad uh,
Assault
for the group,
Squad.
Roddy goes over to talk to Holly, and she's like, "I'm really sorry I threw you out a window. I didn't know."
Didn't know. And then the
So
movie ends on Roddy just going, "Shut up, bitch." And then
Ah,
I kept expecting him to just like whack her with just punch the shit out of her. How do you like
just,
it?
just give her one good shot in the nose.
It's 5 across the face.
Yeah, there you go.
Her in the rear naked choke. Um,
They also get into like a 10-minute fight. Frank has to break up.
What are you doing? What are you
Put on the
doing?
glasses. I already put on the glasses. Punch.
They're contacts. Shut up.
it's a 2-minute fight with it's a 2-minute fight that turns into another 10-minute fight between Frank and Roddy.
They do all the same spots, but they're just in a different place.
Yes.
It goes exactly the same.
Yes. No, put on the glasses. I don't have to. We got the contact.
Shut up. Put on the glasses, Keith David.
Um, so finally, they're going over the plan and they're talking about how they have to locate the source of the signal. And they've pinpointed it. They think it's coming from one location. And Holly works at a cable station and says it's not coming from there. And immediately, mid-sentence of the guy in charge, the cops storm through the building, just crash into it through the wall, and start pouring in.
Oh, shit.
So yes, so that the so much for the wait and see approach. Uh, so Holly, Frank, and Roddy flee the scene. Frank earlier picked up one of the alien watches that has a little teleporter in it.
Oh, shit.
But they don't know how it works.
No.
So they're cornered in an alleyway, and they decide, fuck it, let's use the watch. And they've gotten separated from Holly at this point, so they just jump into the hole that the watch makes. It's a dimension hole, and they drop down into a long underground layer where they sneak past several guards, and then they run into they walk into a meeting with I guess LA's elite and some of the aliens, and it's very much business, 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 good business, up 38%, good business.
They have dialogue like a Neil Breen film where it's just like, I can't believe they let us take money from them with and we don't pay taxes.
Isn't that
Isn't
bad?
that bad?
It's almost like that.
You
but
know, that actually, honestly,
I
maybe
resign
Neil
as
Breen-
president of the banks.
maybe
I
Neil-
mean, that would have worked in this movie actually, because
the aliens have a president of
it's
the bank.
just aliens.
I always feel like Neil Breen might be an alien. Hello? Did my call break? What the fuck?
But
Ah.
You okay,
oh,
Allie?
Are we
Yeah,
okay?
just everyone cut out for a second.
Oh,
okay.
God. Audio still working?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good.
Okay. So in the they walk around the business meeting and they run into one of the guys from the hobo camp who previously was a hobo and is now dressed in a fine tuxedo. He says, "Oh, when did they recruit you boys?" So he starts giving him the tour around the place until they get to the TV news station. And they're like, "Yeah, you think we could be let in the studio? You know, I've always wanted to see a TV news studio." And when the hobo doesn't get them through the guards, they just shoot the guards.
These are like the... Okay, I'm gonna tilt my hand a little bit here and say that, like, one of the things a lot of propagandists use is that the people that are their enemies are, like, super competent, but at the same time, fucking stupid and very easy to defeat. And knowing people like fucking Alex Jones constantly talk about this fucking movie makes me think that he just thinks at the same time of these people controlling everything, but also they suck, and you could just like shoot them and shit.
So that's why you think that they really like this movie, is because it plays to that fantasy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know what? That
Well,
would be it.
I mean, we'll get to that, but I mean, in this instance, they managed to confuse and hoodwink a very stupid human in the
Hoodwinked.
first place. Not one.
What? Bamboozled. What?
Smackledorf.
Smackledorf.
I always love that joke.
All right. So they make it into the TV studio and just start shooting up the place. And their whole goal is they want to do two things. One, see if they can find Holly because they are at the cable station where she works. So maybe she made her way back here. Two, make it to the roof where the signal is coming from so they can destroy the signal. So they climb up the stairs and are making their way up through armies of guards. And they're just like blowing them away. They finally come across Holly right before they get to the roof. And Roddy goes ahead to clear the way for them while he makes sure tells Frank to make sure that Holly is safe. This turns out exactly how you think it does. She shoots Frank in the head.
Oh no, not Frank.
Keith David is no more in this movie.
No more Keith David.
Oh.
Because Holly is a traitorous bitch.
Holy.
So, Piper gets up to the roof, sees the satellite dish, and then is confronted with Holly, who has a gun pointed at him from behind, telling him to step away from the satellite dish and that everything's going to be all right. See, she's already sold out to them. At what point did she sell out is a good question, because she might have known about it when he was in her house, or she might have sold out later.
Maybe she just felt like pushing him through a window first. Lead him along a little bit.
Yes. But she obviously sold out the meeting she was at, because that's probably how they knew about the meeting. That being said, the film ends on kind of a grim note for Piper and Holly, where he decides he's going to put the gun he's holding down and pull another one out of his pants and just shoot her in the face.
I'm kind of surprised that... Did anyone try to, like, get a sequel to this movie?
Well, here, I don't know how you could, because here's how it ends. He shoots the signal, the satellite, several times. And then the men in the helicopter that is circling above them, the aliens, shoot him. And he basically bleeds out on the roof while the satellite dish explodes. And then the signal that disguises the aliens ends. So everyone sees them on TV, in the bar. I believe the very last scene in the movie is a woman having sex. She's on top of a man, and she suddenly stops, and he goes, "What's wrong, baby?" And she looks down, and he's got the alien skull face.
Oh.
So I don't know how you do a sequel to that.
Yeah. So at that point, you've got to completely shift like the setting and the genre.
Yeah, I know,
Well, not
but I
the
still
genre.
feel like some dipshit would try and make a sequel to this where it's an action movie. Shut up, cat.
Shut up, Sorrow.
I mean, like I said before, maybe Neil Breen's just been trying to make a They Live sequel.
But he
He's
doesn't
trying
have
to
the
think.
signal, so he just looks like some guy.
Yes.
So, to answer my earlier question, was it worth leaving WWF to do this movie? Fuck yeah, it was.
Hell yeah. I also imagine if Vince actually read the script, he probably would have hated it. Big corporations are evil.
Wait a minute, I'm a big corporation.
Nah, this is bullshit.
That's a bullshit.
Do another movie.
All right. So, now that I've taken up almost pretty much an hour explaining They Live,
Yes.
sorry about that.
No,
That's why I kept saying I don't want 4 people on, so let me tell you about
all right.
Gotcha.
3 max.
Yes, got it. Let's see if I can do it a little shorter.
I want to see if I can
wait.
guess what it is before you say it.
Okay.
Wait, are we seriously ending on Allie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
His was 1995. Mine's 1989.
Okay.
So, let me guess. You said it was 3 hours, 40 minutes, and it was 1989. Is it WrestleMania 7?
Wrong, because WrestleMania 7 was 1991.
Shit.
So let me tell you about WrestleMania 5.
Fuck.
Where the show from Boardwalk Hall, April 2nd, 1989. Boardwalk Hall, not Trump Plaza. They insist on saying it's Trump Plaza. It was Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City.
Oh my
which
god.
is also owned by Trump. Yes. He is on my wait, no, he's not on my A's alert because he is a constant nightmare.
I cannot stop finding things about him and I hate it.
Well, we start off with Vince kind of giving us a big old mega powers explode, where it's like there's all this thunder happening in the video
My
package
balls
or the video,
explode.
and the mega powers just literally explode, and it's like, okay,
Wait, does Hulk Hogan just explode?
like Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage just explode, like they have like a explosion effect.
The end.
Yeah.
So
We strapped
wait.
Dynamite to Randy Savage.
Wait a
and Hulk
minute.
Hogan.
Wait a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Rob reviewed a movie. You're reviewing WrestleMania. And I gotta review whatever the fuck garbage I just watched.
Dude, trust me, I didn't like this WrestleMania. Okay, because I picked this WrestleMania because it was the inaugural winner of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Award, Worst Major Wrestling Show.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I wanted to see, is it as bad as Meltzer claimed?
Yes.
Or his fans, or however the election process is. And God, yes. We are our hosts for the night, our announcers are Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse the Body Ventura.
Ah, yes, Monkey Rain.
So, let's see. So
Monkey
really,
Rainstorm.
Rob, if you had reviewed Abraxas, this would have been great.
Abraxas.
I thought about doing a practice.
We get, of course, Gorilla Monsoon saying you could cut the electricity in this crowd with a knife, and I really hate that phrase.
You'd get electrocuted immediately.
I don't think you should cut electricity with a knife.
This is like cutting my mom's power cord with a fork.
It's like sticking a penny in a light socket.
Brain damage.
We start off with the WWF Women's Champion, Rockin' Robin. Now, you might think when I said a champion is starting off the show, that's a match. No, she's singing America the Beautiful.
America.
Oh, she did do that.
And it was really bad. It's super awkward. Like, she is never on key at all. For amber waves of grain.
Were there at least montages of grain?
No.
Fuck.
And excuse me. Oh, holy shit! Excuse me.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon, after her performance, argue over whether or not she did a good job, and I'm with Jesse on this.
This is
Rockin'
garbage.
Rockin' Robin should stick to wrestling. Oh God, I have gas.
You make me sit through that shit.
Oh God, just thinking about this paper gives me gas. We
nothing but a bunch of slack jawed.
No. Goddamn.
Get you banned off Spotify immediately.
Yeah, there's two words I refuse to let anyone say in my podcast, and if anyone does, I'm stopping the episode and not uploading it.
Yeah.
I thought about doing Predator too. And no, not Predator 2, but Predator.
Because
that made Jesse Ventura feel pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. So our first match of the night, King Haku versus Hercules.
Hercules Hernandez?
Hercules Hernandez, yes. He was just called
Oh my
Hercules.
God. I'm not sure if it's a good match, but I would like to see these two go at it in a street fight.
It was not a street fight. I actually didn't hate this match.
I feel like the reason why I thought this was WrestleMania 7 was because I keep forgetting of how late in the 80s WrestleMania was.
Right, WrestleMania started right at like 1985.
Yeah, I've always thought it was like 1981 for some reason.
No. It's just
they're perpetually behind the times. It's amazing.
Yes.
They're trailing the wave at all times.
I don't get why Hercules has the chain gimmick. He comes out with a chain.
That's part of his gimmick. I don't know. He's always had that.
Yeah, I think that's just a thing he does.
Yeah. But lights went briefly out in the they had like a bear hug spot, and the lights kind of like dim slightly, and then they cut cameras, and the lights were better. And it's like, that's weird. Commentary's pretty good. It's like I'll probably get sick of it eventually, but like the commentary is very conversational. It's very nice, very even. Like Jesse Ventura, when he talks about faces, only really gets upset when they do something that would be considered like illegal, like a double team or something.
That's a double team move.
Why are they doing that?
That should be a disqualification.
Yeah, exactly. It was sort of like that, and it wasn't as like argumentative as like say Michael Cole and JBL can get.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Hercules wins the match after like a couple minutes off a pretty nice bridging back suplex that I really liked. Good solid opener. I put down, because there's like 14 matches on this card and this fucking show is so long, I decided I wanted to see what I would keep and what I would cut from this show in an effort to bring it down a bit.
Would you cut this?
No, I would actually keep this match. It's a good solid opener to the show.
What would you replace Rockin' Robin singing America the Beautiful with?
I'll talk about that. But
he just walks up to the microphone and just goes, ah! and then leaves.
We cut to
Jesse Ventura farts the national anthem.
I would
now
watch that.
Get a load of this.
Okay. We cut to Mean Gene interviewing the Rockers. They're talking about how they're going to be facing off against
Jesse the Bowels Ventura.
How they're going to be causing 9/11 tonight. Wow, you guys are laughing so hard you completely whiffed that offensive joke.
Yes.
Because they are
sorry. I was too busy laughing at Jesse the Bowels Ventura.
Damn it, Allie. Okay, so the Rockers are having a match against the Twin Towers.
Oh no!
So,
oh my god!
That's why I made that joke.
Sean super kicked the World Trade Center.
Super kicks can't melt steel beams. All right. So the Rockers look hideous. They have like these pink shirts with like these weird like zebra pattern bits on them. They're all bedazzled, and they got like their initials written on their shirts and like.
It's
Sharpie.
Always funny looking at photo shoots of the Rockers where it looks like it's just Shawn Michaels in a weird wig.
It does, yeah. Shawn Michaels when he was really blonde.
Yes.
And like they've got like highlighter yellow pants. I'm gonna see if I can find you guys a picture of them at WrestleMania 5. It is something gaudy. Oh, wait, come on. Here you go. You can't see the pants, but I am going to show you this goddamn picture. Yeah, general. God. It is the worst. Also, Allie, we both had shows with Marty Jannetty on them. Did Marty Jannetty look like that?
No, he looked saggier, and also he was wearing this like weird orange and black tassel thing all over his body. Like he looked like his clothes were made of confetti in my episode.
How do you know he had Marty Jannetty?
I did.
We'll get to that.
He joined a call while I was watching, and I sometimes would make a comment.
Yes, like the fact that Marty Jannetty.
That Marty Jannetty looked like shit.
Yeah, we will get into detail on that later. So we got the Twin Towers with Slick versus the Rockers.
Who are the Twin Towers again? I'm sorry.
Big Boss Man and Akeem. Big Ball Man.
Big Ball Man.
Big Ball Man. And Akeem the African Dream, a.k.a. Let's Make Fun of Dusty Rhodes.
African Dweem.
You know, this wouldn't be a bad tag team as an idea of, like, the prisoner and the ex-con, or, like, the prison guard and the ex-con.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what they have in common.
They're big.
Know what besides the fact that they're big, and maybe that they're managed by Slick. I could make a joke here, but I feel like
institutional racism. I'm Slick. What's up?
I feel like I could make a joke here with Big Boss Man being managed by Slick, but I feel like we already delved into enough politics with They Live.
No. We can't cut Mega Fighter. We must hide the fact that we're both disgusting liberals as long as we can.
Yes. I put down on my first note, the Rockers are a neon nightmare. Which I think they dropped their shirts, but they're still, oh god, the tassels. I forgot about the tassels. And the zebra stripe boots.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that putting in Google
So-
Images helped
At least
so much.
like wrestling gear back in the day was just like you fell out of a thrift store, and that's just sort of your gear.
So does the match end with a super kick to the World Trade Center?
No, it doesn't. Sadly, Sweet Chin Music could not melt steel beams. This is where I started noting how
If our first T-shirt was a cutout of Shawn Michaels super kicking the World Trade Center, we would go to hell.
oh Jesus Christ. When I first noted Ventura's not like spending his whole time shitting on the baby faces. He underestimates them because they're smaller, but otherwise pretty good. There's a lot of working the arm to start off. They really work like Akeem's arm a lot.
Oh, my arm.
It was nice to watch a match where like Boss Man could work and move. Like
Oh
he
yeah,
goes off
compared
the
to
top rope.
2002 Boss Man.
Compared to 2002 Boss Man, this Boss Man can like fucking go. Oh yeah, Akeem murders Shawn with a clothesline at one point because Shawn Michaels has always had just like the crazy ability to just bump for everybody and make them look just devastating. Oh yes. So they go at one point the Rockers go for a double drop kick on the Boss Man. And Marty hits it, but like Shawn is like, I think because Marty hits it, Shawn doesn't, and he just kind of eats shit in the air. Beautiful diving catch by Boss Man into a spine buster. That was really nice. It's a nice power speed tag or power versus speed tag match. Akeem wins it off of like a splash to Shawn.
I guess they weren't getting pushed as hard yet.
They weren't there yet. I don't think. Sadly, they never won the titles. There was like that wonkiness with the hearts and the ropes. But no, otherwise this was pretty good. And I would keep this match too. So far, 2 matches.
Get people hype with the tag match after the opener.
Yeah.
I would actually put the tag match first, but I feel like that's fine otherwise.
Yeah, if I don't take forever on this, I will actually list off my rebooking of WrestleMania 5. I got a separate doc for that. Oh yeah, we now cut to Tony Schiavone, who I forgot had a stint in WWF.
Tony Schiavone.
Hell yeah, AEW trapped in the dark dimension, Tony Schiavone. Or whatever the heck we say about whenever he's on AEW Dark and in the green screen room. He's interviewing Ted DiBiase.
Hello, I'm Tony Schiavone, and I'm stuck here in the dark.
Yes. He's interviewing Ted DiBiase and Virgil. Virgil is just staring at the camera and just like kind of aggressively like
I
pulling
find it very
Bills
interesting
apart.
there's 2 different parodies of Dusty Rhodes on at the
There's
same time.
There's 2 different jokes on Dusty Rhodes in the same like show. They really wanted to go at Dusty. Apparently Virgil actually knew like Dusty in real life, and the Virgil thing was just kind of a like it was just like a hey
Coincidence or like a
it was DiBiase who was friends with Dusty, and he was the one who suggested Virgil as a joke on his buddy. And then when Mike Jones jumped over to WWF, he became Vincent and Shane.
go to the Olive Garden.
And then he went to Olive Garden.
He put one in his backyard.
Not too much to say. They're hyping up a match with Brutus Beefcake. I have no idea what the purpose of this match is, but we're having a match with Brutus Beefcake. And I don't know. Tony Schiavone was pretty good.
Hogan's friend needs a paycheck.
Hogan's friend needs a paycheck. Exactly,
brother.
They need to be on the card.
They need to get cash, dude.
That might be why there's 14 matches on here. It's just get everyone on the card.
Yeah, they sort of replaced shitloads of short matches with a WrestleMania payday battle royal.
Exactly.
Of some kind, or like just a big fuckfest match.
Where there's lumberjacks.
So a bunch of people get get a little bonus.
I don't know. I thought Tony Schiavone was all right on interviews. I don't know why Vince didn't stick with him.
I guess Vince doesn't like putting the work in sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, He had Mean Gene until he didn't.
I think this was where
Obscene
Ted
Gene
Ted
Okerlund.
DiBiase talks about his people being in the crowd because we're in Trump Plaza and Trump's in the front row. The pre-orange Donald Trump. He also talks about a guy called Henry Kravis who's on the 80s alert. I guess he was like a big businessman.
So like a Trump who didn't go through Taz's Cheeto dust.
Yes, the pre-orange Donald Trump, the pre-Cheeto dust Donald Trump. Henry Kravis was like
that
a
stuff
big,
fucks you
like...
up. Why do you think Taz's commentary was so weird in TNA? Don't do orange.
Henry Kravis was like a major businessman in like the 80s. He bought out RJR Nabisco Inc., which was like which is now two separate companies. It's the RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company and Nabisco. Yes. So
yeah, sadly their tobacco flavored Oreos didn't really work out.
Premier Oreos. If anyone remembers the Premier cigarettes.
2 cookies surrounding tobacco.
Oh my god. Yeah, so
it tastes like
Henry
my
Kravis.
dad.
It tastes like everyone's dad. So that's Henry Kravis on the 80s alert. So 80s, I don't think I'll ever even remember his name after this show. Virgil, like when they're coming, like Ted DiBiase and Virgil come out first, but Virgil for some reason yells at Howard Finkel to introduce him first. DiBiase currently residing in his spring residence of Palm Springs, Florida.
Yes, Palm Springs, Florida.
Yes, they we have a match and they talk because it's a Brutus Beefcake match. They talk about like cutting hair, and Ventura goes, "What about Virgil?" And Guerrero's like, "I think he's fine. I think he's just doing fine on the hair department."
I don't know, get some Gorilla Glue, and just slap some hair on him.
Gorilla Glue?
Yeah, Gorilla Glue. It's a fucking glue.
Does Gorilla Monsoon use Gorilla Glue?
That is a better question.
Good question. Does he ever have to fix fix a table? I don't.
He has to fix it in gorilla position. All right. I was going to say, because I put down a fake quote. What about Virgil's pubes, Gorilla? Could they use a shave?
Mega Fighter, excuse me, but you're talking about Subumafu Hurricane.
That was a lemur.
A lemur's a primate, right?
I don't think so. Oh God. I forgot. Yeah. I thought that we were talking about the Virgil haircutting thing in the match. No, it was during the entrances because Beefcake comes out and he's in this horrible brown and gold attire. I cannot. If I can find a picture. Oh, here we go. This is kind of blurry, but this is ugly as hell.
To be fair, it's Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah, but even like
his attire has always been ugly.
Yeah, but even his usual like pink and black attire is usually all right. This is just a bad mix of colors. Like a really shitty mustard bottle. They talk about Donald Trump and whether or not he needs to have his hair cut. Which, to be honest, with how he looks now, maybe we should have had the barber go at him.
I'm gonna refrain from making a joke here.
I'm talking about his hair.
I'm also talking about his hair. It's just talking about his hair also involves other things that I don't want to talk about.
Okay. Somebody in the crowd actually yells out, "Sleeper!" Someone is calling for Brutus to do the sleeper hold, people.
In the episode, I was going to say in the episode where I suggest Shawn Michaels super kick the Twin Towers, I don't want to make this joke about some guy's hair.
Oh, jeez. I decided to mute for that burp because God, I've had so much gas right now.
Okay, so who wins this one?
This goes to a double count out.
Really?
At WrestleMania.
Yes, it has a double count out finish at WrestleMania. There's no stakes. The match is good up until the disappointing finish. But DiBiase or Beefcake goes after DiBiase with the shears, which Gorilla Monsoon refers to as assault with a deadly weapon. Allie, does that count?
I don't know. I don't know if Wrestlecourt's in session.
Are we putting Brutus Beefcake on the rap sheet? We'll talk about it later. If we ever come up on Brutus Beefcake again, I probably would have cut this match just because it's a good match, but it doesn't really have a purpose besides getting these two on the card. And its finish sucks. Just sucks the wind out of the whole match. We then cut to Lord Alfred Hayes earlier that morning at brunch
With his massive dick.
with the Bushwhackers as they talk with their mouths full about the Rougeaus and what their strategy is in their upcoming match. I put down, God, this is gonna suck. Which it turns out it did, because this is the fabulous Rougeau brothers with Jimmy Hart versus the Bushwhackers.
Oh my God.
This match was not good, but mainly it was on the Bushwhackers side. And I'm sure some fucking Mark is gonna come on here about me and talk about how much better they were as the sheep herders and how WWE ruined them. And it's like, well, maybe the WWF shouldn't have hired them. All right, we don't need every fucking person that's like mildly big in a region, Vince. There was a good moment where like one of the Rougeau brothers, I really couldn't remember which at that moment, has a Bushwhacker.
Let's just say PCO for the.
Oh, this wasn't the Carlo era. This was
okay.
This was still Jacques and Raymond.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's not until later. But one of them had him in a Boston Crab while his other brother just stomps on his back, and I don't think we see that spot these days.
No,
and I kind of liked it. That's cool.
If I had a tag team, I would make their finishers like a Boston Crab and a Camel Clutch, and I would just call it Touchin' Butts.
There was a point where like a Bushwhacker like got thrown in a turnbuckle and just kind of bounced off it, which was nice. And I say a Bushwhacker because at that point, Gorilla and Jesse start arguing over which Bushwhackers in the ring. So I'm fucked.
So it's two almost identical looking like men, New Zealanders, and then two almost identical looking French Canadian guys.
Yes. I think actually Jacques and Raymond do at least have different hair, but just God help me if I can tell you which
one's
is which.
Jacques. I don't.
Double stomach breaker wins it for the Bushwhackers, even though Jacques totally broke up the pin on Raymond. So I did remember at that point, or I did put those notes down at that point. Probably would cut this match for time. It wasn't a bad match, but it was brought down a bit.
It was the Bushwhackers match.
It was the Bushwhackers match.
What are you missing in a Bushwhackers match?
Nothing. It feels like the Rougeaus carrying them to a match. Oh yeah, this is exactly where I decided, cut this match and everything involved. When the Bushwhackers start licking Sean Mooney. Because I fucking hate that licking gimmick. That's terrible. How is that cool? Who wants to get licked by the Bushwhackers? I don't get you, Vince.
Girls in the bush.
God. But then we have a much better match to follow up. Mr. Perfect versus the Blue Blazer. This is the debut of Perfect Singlet. This is also where I started noticing that just weirdly, sometimes entrances don't have music. Even if they're going to win the match, they just don't come out to music.
Sometimes they'll come out to music, but it's mostly music for the upper card.
Yeah, at this time especially.
Well, they probably don't have Blue Blazer
They don't have Blue Blazer music, no.
at this point.
During the match, Ventura says hi to his 4 biggest fans in Minneapolis: Terry, Tyrell, Jade, and Jeremiah. That is a reference to his family, which is his wife Terry and his 2 kids, Tyrell and Jade. I don't know who Jeremiah is though.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Jeremiah
was
just
a good
cool.
friend of mine.
But I still liked how he's saying hi to his family. That's really sweet.
Hi, family.
I like that. There was a point where someone just in the crowd just kind of just starts screaming like, ah! It's like, what is going on here?
You know what's weird, Mega Fighter? Every time you yell, your mic cuts out. That's something
I do.
Yes.
I know it's weird. My shit like
that happens every episode.
I think my mic's just not good.
I would just fuck with the settings a little bit sometime.
Or yeah, I might have turned down my sensitivity or something on Discord. Mr. Perfect wins it with a perfect plex. I put down keep.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, keep. Yes. Good
absolutely
match all
keep
around.
Kurt Hennig versus Owen Hart. Thank you.
Fuck yes.
I imagine they killed it.
They did. I have awards, and my underrated went to Owen Hart.
I didn't do awards.
It did not deserve it. It was just one big Y segment. Speaking of why, for some reason, Howard Finkel just kind of introduces Jesse Ventura.
Here's Jesse Ventura again. Hello. How's it going? Hi.
Yes.
Hello.
And then we have the WrestleMania 5K run
Oh no.
where Mr. Fuji enters. And I feel like this is supposed to sell us on the fact that Mr. Fuji can fucking go because he's going to be in the fucking tag match later on. But this went like near 2 minutes and didn't need to happen. And then we cut to Run DMC to perform the WrestleMania rap.
Oh fuck!
Oh no!
And I love me some Run DMC. Let's not kid ourselves. That's exactly why I made you play that 8-bit. It's tricky, but it was foreshadowing. But this is just more padding on this show. What'd you say?
Okay. Cunt.
They give this rap 4 minutes. It's not even that great.
We're here for you, WrestleMania rap.
It's like that. It's like WrestleMania rap, and it's like, oh my god, please. Like this goes for 4 minutes, like almost 4 minutes, and it's just like Jesus Christ.
At that point, can we just play the Wrestle Rock Rumble?
I wish
that was. I wanted that to be
Vern Gagne rapping.
I wanted that to be the intro to this series. It's just the Vern Gagne verse of the Wrestle Rock rap. I'm Vern Gagne.
Rage.
I'm gonna rage.
No, that's not Vern Gagne.
Wait, no, that's. I think that's Greg Gagne.
Yeah.
That might have been Greg or Larry.
No, Vern Gagne was the one who had way too many words and couldn't keep on rhythm.
Oh yes, unlike Nick Bockwinkel, who was fantastic.
Yes.
Sadly, the Wrestle Rock Rumble is slightly too short to discuss, but there is a lot that happens in it.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, why not just have Run DMC do the national anthem?
America,
America. God shed His grace on thee. Be better than Fergie. Topical joke.
That wasn't the national anthem, by the way.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not-
right. That was very
it's never the end. It's never America the Beautiful is never the national anthem.
sorry. Whatever.
Someone had to point that out to you before you got angry comments. If you have people who actually listen to the show.
Or people who care about America. Oh, no.
We do. They just don't comment.
Hello, Germany. Das Deutschland ist nur... No.
We do have what was it like? You said we had a dedicated follower where?
So far our demo is 80% American, one guy from Singapore who I'm pretty sure I know who that is. and one guy from Germany.
There's
And
one German guy.
I don't know any German guys, so
We get a nice little recap of the Demolition Powers of Pain feud. Our first recap of the night, surprisingly. So I guess they recap like title feuds, which I like. We get an
that sort of
interview.
syncs up with like the recaps they did on my show.
Yeah. We get an interview with Demolition where Smash refers to Mr. Fuji as Fuge the Stooge. I like that.
Huh.
Yeah. We get a WF Tag title match, Demolition versus the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji. Now, while I have like notes of keep or cut this match, I feel like there's like no choice when it comes to title matches. Those have to be on the show. Those are required.
Who's teaming with Mr. Fuji?
The Powers of Pain. It's the Powers of Pain, and their manager is joining them in a handicap tag match against Demolition.
Who are the Powers of Pain?
The Warlord and the Barbarian.
Oh shit!
Steroids, got it. Okay.
So this is just power brawler guys just fucking
Large.
throwing big hands at each other.
Slammer.
Really don't get why Mr. Fuji needed to be in this match. He misses with the salt at like
Because they need someone who will sell.
Somebody's got to sell Fuji baby.
Yeah, Fuji misses with the salt in the finish, takes the Demolition decapitation. Demolition wins. Good enough match, you know. So I guess that's right. Mr. Fuji was there to sell. I honestly could have gone without Mr. Fuji in this match, but fuck it. They go to try and get an interview with Tony Schiavone tries to get an interview with Randy Savage, but instead Macho Man just yells at him and then shoves the cameraman. Basically, fuck off, Tony Schiavone. Fuck your cameraman.
Go and fuck yourself.
And then we get Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin versus rugged Ronnie Garvin. Oh boy. There was some nice like rolling cradle stuff and like transitions with where Ronnie Garvin would like flip over Dino Bravo, but otherwise this match sucked.
Were there any cigarettes in the match?
No, but while we're talking about Dark Side of the Ring, Howard Finkel announces the special appearance of Jimmy Snuka.
Oh no.
He just kind of shows up and then leaves, and then we get on to introducing the people who wrestle in this match. So it's like, okay, Jimmy Snuka's here. He doesn't even like, why wasn't he in like Garvin's corner or something? Just have him show up at the show.
He's too busy getting high on coke in the corner.
Oh my god, basically. Bravo wins this with a side slam. I remember this match being short, but it was just boring power stuff for the most part.
I'm surprised because Ronnie Garvin's not a bad wrestler, and neither is Dino Bravo.
I don't know. Maybe at this point, this was when like the ennui of watching like that much wrestling had kicked in.
Yeah, I think Mega Fighter told me off show that this took him 3 days to get through.
It took me 3 days to get through because I just wanted to do other stuff.
I was usually at work around the time.
To be fair, it would not be the first match where good wrestlers had a shitty match.
Yeah. Garvin sneaks attacks Dino after the match and then does the Garvin stomp to Frenchie Martin. And here's the new fight me. I'm going to say it. The fucking Garvin stomp looks way dumber than the Orton stomp. Where it's like fucking Garvin just like kind of hops off, like he's got the rope. He's got his hand on the rope and he just kind of hops on each individual body part in like the most unconvincing way. I hate it. I hate the Garvin start.
I don't think I can turn that into a fight me because I don't know who the fuck Garvin is.
We will watch the Garvin stomp later, and I swear to God, it's terrible. But we do go right into the next match, thankfully, and it's the Brainbusters with Bobby Heenan versus Strikeforce.
So who are the members of those teams?
The Brainbusters is, of course, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
And Strikeforce is Tito Santana and Rick Martel.
Did they have all their vowels removed so they were Strikeforce?
No.
Okay.
No. They were not Strikeforce. And it wasn't the burn Busters.
Burn boosters.
This match will be announced by the Swedish chef.
Like one of the early spots that I really liked was one of the Brock wasn't in the company at this point, Swedish chef. What are you talking about? But one of the early spots I really liked from this was where like they got Martel in the corner. And he's just punching both dudes. Like Tully's inside, he's punching him, he's punching Arn on the outside. And it's like boom, boom, boom. They eventually it goes into chaos, and like Ventura's not yelling at anyone for when it's all chaotic and everyone's in the ring at once, which is nice. And then everyone kind of breaks off. They have just a good match. There's a really nice double figure four. Oh my god, I actually have the note. I am enjoying this match. This match is good.
Good time match. Good.
We get a sunset flip from Tito, I believe, or Martel onto Arn. Like they sunset flip Arn. So of course I put in the classic OSW call, Aloha Arn.
I do not watch OSW.
So Aloha Arn is a joke on the fact that if you've ever seen like Arn Anderson struggle in like a sunset flip spot, he's like very much like shaking his hips a lot before going down for it.
Uh-huh.
So it's like Aloha Arn.
I still don't watch OSW review.
I'm so glad we spent 30 seconds on this podcast explaining the joke from another podcast.
Yeah, we do that a lot. We talked about Deadlock reading the WWE joke book and DDP ripping his face off.
How about this? Fuck you, fight me. I don't like OSW review. Kiss my ass.
Oh, God.
I haven't watched a single episode from them. Fuck you, fight me.
Oh, great. We can just forget about ever getting a guest spot from Jay Hunter.
I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Losers.
Sorry. Looks like you're not going to be on this week's podcast that I listen to exclusively that you don't, you piece of shit. Fuck you, Mega Fighter.
You're on it.
What do you mean? I'm not on it.
You're on Wrastleboys.
I don't listen to Wrastleboys. It's shit.
All right.
This show sucks.
Martel. So at one point, Martel gets hit by like a flying crossbody attack that like Tito was aiming for one of the brain busters. I think it was Arn. Arn did a lot of the work on this match. And that's like, he's knocked off the apron. It takes a while for him to get back up. And then eventually he just walks off on Tito. We're setting up for the heel turn. The Brainbusters hit the spike pile driver for the finish. I think this is a thing that is a personal belief of mine. You should never kick out of a spike pile driver. That move is death to me. But this is a good match. Great tag match. Set up Martel's eventual heel turn and turn into the Model, which I'm sure is from the bag of gimmicks.
Yes, the gimmick bag.
We'll talk about the bag of gimmicks later. That was my phone going off, if anyone heard that. Mean Gene interviewing Rick Martel afterwards, kind of wanting answers for why he walked off. Basic heel turn promo. Tito was riding my coattails. He wanted this team. Blah, blah, blah. Solid enough to set up the turn and all. Then we have the longest segment of the night.
Yay.
A Piper's Pit with Brother Love. By the way, fucking talking about They Live. We got a Piper's Pit with Brother Love and Morton Downey Jr.
Who?
Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr., who was like the Jerry Springer of the 80s. He had like this talk show where he would just like yell and insult and belittle people and blow smoke in their faces.
First of all, Piper's Pit with Brother Love, no.
Yeah, no.
And then Piper's Pit with Brother Love and knock off Jerry Springer. No.
He was the Jeremy Kyle of his time.
Please tell me tell me Piper at least punches one of them.
Oh, don't worry, he does deal them both comeuppance, but this segment goes 20 minutes.
Oh
Good
my god.
We start with an introduction by Howard Finkel where it's supposed to be like, here comes Roddy Piper, but then Brother Love comes out in a kilt. And he does like this impression of Rodney Piper, and he interviews himself, or he basically interviews himself because he goes between like Brother Love asking questions and his Roddy Piper impression doing the answers.
He's got decent impressions from like me listening to some episodes of Something to Wrestle.
But I put down in my notes, did Pritchard book this? Then we go 5 minutes with this shit. And then Morton Downey Jr. comes out. We only had to put up with like 2 minutes of Love and Morton before Piper comes down. Like we do a lot of jokes about the skirt and fucking weird gay jokes. Brother Love, according to Roddy Piper, has Betty Davis knees.
Betty Davis knees.
That is amazing.
At one point, I put down the note casual transphobia. I forget what the setup was, but all I remember was Morton Downey Jr. saying the word transvestite.
Transvestite.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s. Casual transphobia, exactly.
Do a lot of coke and vote for Ronald Reagan.
They do like the bit with like where like Morton blows the smoke in Piper's face 5 times. Not the rule of 3. They went to 5, where it's like now you're pushing it.
I just want Eric Andre to run in and just start breaking shit.
Man, why haven't WWE gone to Eric Andre?
You cannot put that genie back in the bottle.
It's the Brother Love show. Ah!
I would love, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. TV. So yeah,
no,
they
just hire Eric Andre as a backstage interviewer for one show.
How could you say something so bold yet so brave?
And now my latest guest, a grizzly bear.
Oh shit!
And then Daniel Bryan comes out. Oh yeah, my time to shine. So he blows the smoke in Piper's face, and Piper's always like, "Can you stop doing that? Oh, I'm asking you to stop. Please stop.
Cut it out."
And then eventually he's like, "Oh, you know what? Okay, maybe I'll try a smoke." And like Morton's like lighting up a cigarette for him, and Piper pulls out a fire extinguisher and blows like the CO2 in his face. And then we're just done.
I just wanted to use the entire fire extinguisher.
I think he basically does.
Like Rich Evans putting out the fire. Ah! Fire! I got it.
And at some point he scares off Brother Love during this segment. We then cut to a sneak preview of No Holds Barred. Or as I put it in my notes,
what's wrestling?
And I noted that the background music for the sneak preview, it wasn't even a sneak preview, it was the trailer.
Oh.
It was the trailer for No Holds Barred, and like the background music in the trailer sounded vaguely like White Wedding by Billy Idol. Shit, we could have gone with that too.
XP music is a thing that also happens in my show, but I don't know what the song is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a guess as to what your show is by the end of Mega Fighters.
We got Sean Mooney interviewing Donald Trump. Where Trump talks about how his casinos have been packed and the money's pouring in.
I just keep losing. I just keep going bankrupt on these fucking casinos. I don't know how they do it.
Enjoy it while it lasts, Donnie boy. Ventura is fucking livid about Hulk Hogan going to Hollywood and encroaching on his territory. Don't worry, Jesse. He only broke even on No Holds Barred. And you'll still have Predator while he'll have Santa with muscles.
Yes, but he'll also have Abraxas.
I know, but it's not Santa with muscles. I don't know. We get a recap of the
should
Mega
have done a
Power storyline.
Brexit, goddamn
We really should have.
it.
We now get a recap of the Mega Power segment.
Mega Powers 3.
The Mega Power storyline, excuse me. Mega Power's free.
Yeah.
No, I put down in the notes. We are 2 hours into an almost 4-hour long show. We have 5 matches before the main event. And we are doing the recap of the Mega Powers exploding. And then an interview of Hulk Hogan. We are nowhere close to the main event, and we are doing this interview.
To be fair,
They gotta
This
keep
is
keep people interested until the,
Actually, that's the
I was
thing.
just
I
gonna
put
say
that
this
down.
is the. I was just gonna say this is the best storyline they
After-
have this entire year.
it took a year of build for this.
I think I put down in my notes. I think we had this promo to keep people from walking out of Boardwalk Hall. Putting Hogan on in the
After
second
5
hour.
more boring matches, you're gonna see Hulk Hogan take on Macho Man Randy Savage. So
We're gonna
you better
keep-
not fucking
we're gonna-
leave, or me and Gene will slap the shit out of you.
We're gonna keep replaying this bit of Hogan carrying Elizabeth, and then Macho Man beating the shit out of Hogan.
You
laid Basically, your yeah, that was the hand on the recap segment.
posterior of Elizabeth.
And apparently he starts talking about how like Donald Trump would talk to like seismologists because I think like the idea is that Trump's worried that Hogan versus Savage is going to cause a sinkhole.
He doesn't believe in science. It's fine.
Well, that's the thing because I feel like this is like just a cheap version of like the WrestleMania 4 promo about Andre.
No, going back to the 9/11 comments earlier, he's worried that he's worried that the Mega Powers exploding is going to cause a literal explosion.
I was just reminded
the
of like
fucking main event is like the bell rings and then just like Hogan and Macho Man start sliding towards each other and they like pick up speed sliding towards each other and then the whole arena blows up.
Mushroom cloud over Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is supposed to be a reference to like the Andre the Giant Hogan promo thing where it's like fucking the entirety of Atlantic City is like Atlantic City's gonna sink or something, and everyone's gonna start drowning, and how Donald Trump will give up his earthly possessions to save his family.
No.
But now we cut to Andre the Giant.
The Superdome or the Silver Dome?
Silver Super.
No, it was in Boardwalk Hall.
No, I was talking about WrestleMania 3.
If I recall, WrestleManias 4 and 5 were in the same place.
Yeah,
like
Boardwalk Hall.
They did a double deal
because they had like a deal with Trump.
That is correct. So, what is our next match? I'm sorry.
Andre the Giant versus Jake the Snake Roberts with special guest referee Big John Studd. Immediately, the match starts. I have
so many questions.
Oh my god!
Is this the one where Jake just throws the snake on him and it's...
I think, well, that's kind of the gimmick they're running with is because Jake chased him out of the Royal Rumble because he's afraid of snakes. Match starts and immediately there's no turnbuckle pad. And the commentators are very confused as to how the turnbuckle pad came off. And I'm just like, probably because Bobby Heenan, right? Because I forgot to mention Bobby Heenan's here too.
He's with Andre, right?
Andre. Yeah, he's managing Andre. And it's like they never think to say, oh, maybe Bobby Heenan took the turnbuckle pad off. And it's like, that's a possibility, gorilla. But no, they're just like, oh, the turnbuckle pad's gone.
Big John Studd is a magician.
There are just so many rest spots, like just bear hugs and choke holds and just Andre sitting down like he always does. His legs.
What year is this?
This is 1989. We are at like
we are prime into Andre is in horrible pain at all times, every moment and every waking hour.
This is where his knees are basically solidifying on themselves. It's the worst. Big John Studd barely does anything in this match as a referee. I know this was apparently going to be Andre Studd 2.
Oh no.
which God
help you.
God help all who see it. Andre gets hit with a knee at some point, but it just looks like he got gassed instead. And he probably was already gassed at that point. Then DiBiase just kind of comes out and steals Damien. Jake runs off to go get him and fucking, take Damien back while Andre puts Stud in a sleeper to keep there from being a count out. And the match ends on a DQ finish because Andre attacked the ref.
Fuck you.
Was Jake versus Ted DiBiase the WrestleMania after this or before this?
I don't even know if that was a WrestleMania match.
It was a WrestleMania match because I remember the promo.
It might have been after because I'm thinking that in 4 was the tournament.
Okay, so it's 6.
So it'd be 6 because 4 was the tournament and that was the main feud there was him and Rick Rude. And 7 was Rick Martel and the blindness thing.
Oh, it's 6.
He put in those eye contacts. And then they had a blindfold match.
Yeah. Jesse Ventura calling this match the results of this match a miscarriage of justice. I would call this match a miscarriage of quality.
I would just call this match a miscarriage.
And I would cut this match. You call this a miscarriage, I'd say abort it.
Jesus Christ. Oh God.
God. We pushed the line.
Put that baby in a blender. Put that baby in a blender.
Dude, yeah. I'm trying. Thank God Alex is shorter. Sean Mooney hangs out with a bunch of marks. We get Tony Schiavone interviewing Sherry.
Oh, that sounds neat.
Who starts off with shitting on Rockin' Robin's singing.
Sensational Sherry.
Yeah, wait a minute. Why didn't they have Sherry sing the national anthem?
Okay, now hold on a second about terrible singing from women wrestlers. Sherry's one to talk. Sexy boy.
Oh, Sean.
Sherry talks about reclaiming the women's title and that she's hotter than Elizabeth, which makes me wonder why we didn't have a match between Sherry and Rockin' Robin for the title at any point.
Because they're women. Jeez.
Because apparently we really
can't put women's wrestling on WrestleMania.
No, you can't. Trump's there, man. He doesn't want to see that shit.
We need 20 minutes of Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah, that's his shit.
We need a Bushwhackers match.
We need a Bushwhackers match.
We do. This is around where because we cut to our next match, which is the Hart Foundation versus the Honky Tonk Man and Greg Valentine. They weren't called Rhythm and Blues on this, which I don't know if that was yet a thing.
These tag teams sound random.
They really do.
By the way, there's a lot of tag team matches.
Oh my God, I think this is our second. This is our last one.
Thank fuck.
I mentioned that there's 5 of them. This is around where Monsoon started slowly turning into modern babyface announcer guy who keeps fucking justifying anything faces do that's slightly wrong or off the even, as it were. That doesn't sound like a phrase.
Look, it's fine that he pulled. It's fine that he pulled out a gun. The other guy's a dick.
It was basically that. It was yeah, but he did this. It was whataboutism from Gorilla Monsoon. From God, fuck it. From Ape Tsunami. Anyway.
Ape Tsunami.
We got a really nice early on we got a really nice slingshot shoulder tackle from Neihart. I started questioning why, Honky Tonk Man, he might not be the best wrestler, but I've never gotten the argument that he sucked. Anyone want to argue that?
Who?
Honky Tonk Man?
Fuck
Honky
you,
Tonk?
fight me. He wasn't that good.
Honky Tonk Man was all right. He was
okay.
He was competent. The reason
he was a much better talker than
the reason they kept the belt on him was because he was good with the stick, but he had
also because he friend McMahon at one point.
But otherwise,
also because he has a honkometer.
Honk honk.
That was Santino. Excuse you. There was a point where someone Honky hits Shake, Rattle, and Roll and then didn't pin Bret Hart. And Gorilla raised up the good point of like, why hit your finisher and then not pin him? Common thread for this show that I hadn't brought up until I noticed it on my notes. A lot of thumbs to the eye, which we don't see these days. You don't see a lot of people breaking shit up by just thumbing someone in the eye.
That is true.
Yeah. Some fucking street boxing shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Match ends with Bret Hart hitting like Honky Tonk Man or Valentine with a megaphone to get the pin. Didn't like that. Would a bit too heelish for my taste because they were supposed to be the baby faces here. If they had just done the heart attack, it would have been fine. Keep this match though. I was also thinking, man, we could use some Hearts versus Rougeaus. We recap
too Canadian for Vince.
Canadian for Vince. We get a recap of the pose down between Warrior and Rick Rude to build up for the IC title match. I raised the question for Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude for the IC title. Was Rick Rude that sexy?
Hey, he had a hirsute quality to him.
He had a charisma to him.
I think it also helped that most of the competition in terms of sexiness were usually just these big chinned, hairy, fucking just muscly beef machines. So it's like I could see how women wouldn't want to be around that.
You look like a carpet wrapped around some meat.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, he looked like the jacked love child of Burt Reynolds and Freddie Mercury. So
I'm Big Freddie.
Early on in the match, Rude goes for like a knee to Warrior while he still has the belt on and it hurts his knee, so that's nice. I like that. I think at one point Gorilla Monsoon mentioned he wanted more biased referees. Which is weird. I forgot what the context was. I think it might have followed another thumb in the eye spot. But I just like,
don't you mean Marmoset Cloudburst?
Marmoset Cloudburst. God damn. Rude reverses a suplex and Heenan puts the foot on the ropes for the win. And then Heenan takes the fucking gorilla press that injures him. Thanks, Warrior.
Warrior wasn't the most safe guy to work with.
Sloppy fuck. Anyway, we get Bad News Brown versus Jim
What
Duggan.
he had for enthusiasm, he surely did make up for the fact he injured a lot of people.
Jesus. We got Bad News Brown versus Jim Duggan. This match was short. It was just a bunch of brawling, and then it ends in a double DQ.
God damn it.
We do get a spot of like them 2x4 versus chair, which I liked, but I would cut this match entirely. It does not need to be here. We get an interview of the Red Rooster where I put down the only note, Terry Taylor, you poor bastard. Because he is totally going in on the cock-a-doodle-doo and and I'm a rooster man.
I'm a rooster man.
That is so bad.
Bruce Pritchard in the distance trying to justify this.
I think Ali, when he was talking about something else, actually pointed out that basically
they just drew gimmicks from a fucking bag.
From an actual bag, and he just got Red Rooster. And apparently just all the shit that he had to deal with, honestly, is on Terry Taylor. We now get Bobby Heenan with the Brooklyn Brawler versus Terry Taylor.
Was he Red Rooster or just Terry Taylor?
He was. I think I put down Terry Taylor. I might have meant to say the Red Rooster. I fucked that up on my notes, but this match was supposed to actually go 5 minutes, but then it got cut short due to the injury Heenan got in the last two matches. Or the match 2 matches ago. Fuck.
We injured Heenan twice.
Heenan got horribly injured.
Heenan got injured, then we brought him out, and we just made sure we broke his legs.
So like this match just goes immediately like turnbuckle smack, and just fucking he throws Heenan into the turnbuckle like a few times, and then pins him and wins. And then he just gets beat down by the Brooklyn Brawler after the match. So I had the question of why not just have like Rooster versus Brawler instead? I know that doesn't sound like the most appealing match on paper, but it's a match. I also put down the note: the Red Rooster getting beaten up by the Brawler while his own music plays. Truly, the lasting image of Terry Taylor's WWF career. This is his WrestleMania moment.
WrestleMania.
We get a bit of a dry promo out of Elizabeth. Mean Gene interviews her about being in the neutral corner for the main event.
I'm neutral.
Like, she's not robotic, but her delivery is just not amazing either.
No, she wasn't.
And then, like, Tony Schiavone, I think he's like standing somewhere. Oh yeah, he's in the back, and then he's like, we cut, and then he's like at arena side or something, or he's at the arena floor, and I put down Tony Schiavone can teleport.
I can teleport.
And then we finally get our main event, Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan, where Elizabeth's in the neutral corner, but she also comes out to Savage's music.
Well, she never had her own.
Why not just not have her have music then? Hogan's theme kicks off just before the chorus, so it's like, if like I gotta be a man, I can't let it slide. I am a real. It doesn't start off with the dun 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 dun.
I don't know if they edited in sometimes or not.
I feel like this one was played live like this. One thing they acknowledge on commentary is this is like the challenger usually comes out first, which I'm fairly certain is a horrible precedent that they set for later WWE shows where the champion comes out first all the time.
I mean, it really should be the champion comes out last, but nah.
A lot of ducking out of the mat, like ducking out and kind of running around the match to start off. We got some great misogynistic quotes from Jesse Ventura, such as "a punch in the nose might not be so bad for her," and
a broad.
And women like her got no place in or around the ring. Thank you, Jesse. Hogan bleeds midway. I think that they like busted him open up on the forehead. So Savage kind of is like punching the forehead, like getting in his eye. Elizabeth, like, you know, she does like interferences on occasion. And then Earl Hebner sends her out of the match. Okay, good. Thanks for bringing the neutral corner into this. And Savage starts working the throat. Like, he like injures, like he gets Hogan in the throat, and Hogan starts selling that for a while. There's a nice spot where like Savage chokes Hogan with his wrist tape. I kind of like that.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
But like, this is mostly just like, as I put down, it's a sports entertainment main event. It's a lot of back and forth brawling. You know, Savage hits the elbow, kick out, Hulk up, big boot, leg drop. There you go. Match over. Pay-per-view done.
But is there anything else from commentary that you want to talk about?
No.
Nothing from Lemur Waterspout.
Nothing from Lemur Waterspout. We already had that argument.
I was holding on to that one.
We had the argument of whether or not a lemur actually counts. Because now he brought up Zabuafu.
I was holding on to Lemur Waterspout for 10 minutes.
Oh my god. MVP of the night was Arn Anderson because he was doing just a fantastic job in that tag match. Underrated was Owen Hart. The Y segment of the night, Piper's Pit. At some point, Farrah Fawcett and Ryan O'Neal got mentioned on commentary. I forget when. It might have been during like the Ted DiBiase match. I don't know. But that was WrestleMania 5. Fuck.
So
God.
if I were to hazard a guess as to, Allie, what did you say the year was?
1995.
Is it a early ECW show?
Ha!
No. In fact, let me take you back to 1995. It's starting to get cold. Halloween is approaching. People are getting out of the people are getting to the movie theaters to watch Get Shorty starring Danny DeVito. Breakfast at Tiffany's was starting to become hot on the radio, even though it would never overtake Fantasy by Mariah Carey.
Thank God.
And a pay-per-view was playing. WWF In Your House 4, Great White North.
You fucked up your gimmick.
Let me tell you about fuck you, Mega Fighter.
I already guessed.
Let me
I already
tell you
guessed.
about WWF In Your House 4.
There we go.
I believe it was emanating from Montreal, of course.
It was in Winnipeg, you idiot.
Was it in Winnipeg?
Winnipeg Arena, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was in Manitoba. All right. Decent crowd actually for like a weird event that no one gives a shit about.
Well, it's because it's Canada and Bret Hart's there. Probably.
Kind of.
Oh, no, wait, yeah. But,
so,
yeah, it's Canada.
In
They
Your
like
House
WWF.
was the attempt to make shorter, cheaper pay-per-views that they could sell for $15 or $20 instead of $25 or $30.
Yes. Yes, there was.
And this one is notorious for being kind of bad. But it does start out with the Canadian national anthem being sung by Joni Wilson. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I was going to say, who?
And the thing I pointed out was, first of all, it was being played on a MIDI keyboard. I could not really tell the national anthem was being on a fucking MIDI keyboard. And also, for some reason, they showed montages of boats while she was singing this. Like, they were trying to find, like, stereotypical Canadian imagery. So they went with, like, mountains, trees, boats, and, like, some shots of, like, I don't know, like, Winnipeg.
Because it was the Maritimes, I guess?
So, yeah, she sings the national anthem. She was okay. There was a weird note at the end where she kind of screamed land of the, or home of the brave. Wait, not home of the brave. The end of whatever the Canadian national anthem is. Then we go to a complete, like, sudden change of pace as Mandrill Rainstorm discusses
God damn it.
a certain thing about Shawn Michaels that happened recently. He has a severe concussion, and he is going to be forfeiting his Intercontinental title to Dean Douglas. So
Is this Lost Your Smile, Sean?
No, that was a little bit later.
This is getting your ass kicked by Marines, Sean.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Sean got his ass beat at a bar by some Marines. Either 1 Marine, 5 Marines, or 7, according to who's telling it.
Yes.
It's 1 Marine according to everyone who isn't Sean. It's 7 Marines according to Sean. And it's 5 Marines according to Zandig.
So here's the thing about this show.
1 Marine, I think, according to the police report.
And here's the thing about this show. There were almost 0 angles. Almost all of it was wrestling. So I kind of feel like I got jibbed a little bit by getting at this at the end. But to be fair, my show was 2 hours and his was 4. So
I went on for an hour, about an hour and 37-minute movie. So
before we actually get to wrestling, we have to do the In Your House intro, intercut with footage of Canadian people grilling hot dogs at half frame rate.
And you can't guess what I'm grilling, eh?
Why did you do an Australian accent?
Terrible CGI of being the
that
WWF.
Was Canadian Bob Dylan, how dare you?
A terrible CGI of the WWF logo entering to your house. And we start with McMahon, JR, and King. And let me tell you something about McMahon. He won't shut the fuck up.
Oh, God.
So, anyway, yeah, McMahon will not stop talking this whole fucking show. He is talking over King. He's talking over JR. JR got like 5 lines. So I guess we'll start with the first match. By making a difference. Here comes Fatu.
What we gonna do?
Clean it up. He's making a difference. He's doing it for the kids. Ah, my spoon.
Well, what you gonna do with that spoon?
Clean it up. So I do not know what this gimmick is.
It's that he wants to like reach out to the kids on the streets.
Yeah, but like he's wearing like an 8-colored jacket, but then he just takes it off and he's just a Samoan guy when he wrestles.
He grew up on the hard life of Florida. I assume he grew up in Florida.
I was trying to find that scar he has on his chest, and I don't know if he got it yet.
He has a scar on his chest?
Yeah, Rikishi has a scar on his chest.
I've never noticed it
It's right next to his titty. It's just...
It's usually because they're too busy showing me his ass to notice these things.
So, Fat 2 is visibly thinner than when he's Rikishi, but his ass was still fucking big as fuck in those tight, like, dark blue tights he was wearing. Who's he facing? Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I can kind of get the logic behind this match. It's the street guy trying to make a difference, lower class type versus
there was a segment on Monday Night Raw, or it was either Monday Night Raw or like Saturday Superstars or wherever the fuck it was called, where pretty much Triple H sprayed perfume all over Fat 2 and pissed Fat 2 off.
And didn't blind him like fucking Rick Martel. Amateur hour shit here, Hunter.
So, Fat 2's the face. Every time he gets on the offense, he dances on him. He dances on Triple H, pretty much.
So this is like a prototype to the Rikishi gimmick.
Yeah, Triple H does some pretty basic heel work. He throws Fat 2 into the ropes and does that kind of like rope choke thing that he does. This match was actually pretty okay. Like, they both could fucking go, and the crowd didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They did not give a fuck, but, like, this match was pretty good. Vince McMahon wouldn't shut the fuck up. He called Triple H obsequious, which, you know, $10 word. Really, McMahon?
I feel like that's a thing with Vince's commentary. $10 words, and I think you'll mention this later. You brought this up while you were watching the match or the show.
What's really funny is
he has like
Fat 2
descriptors.
Fat 2 is the kind of guy who
He is the kind of guy.
Or Fat 2 was angry at Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he attacked him while he was still in his like regent coat.
Yeah, he hadn't taken off his coat yet.
And what's really funny is, like, as they wrestle and Hunter keeps taking off things, I just found it funny that he slowly becomes Triple H. Just like, shirt off, ponytail off, weird ribbon off, and it's just like, now I'm Triple H, yeah. So, here's the other thing that happened in this match. Lawler wouldn't stop shitting on Fat 2. Fat 2, apparently, lives in a house where he has named every cockroach. And then I made... Those are the Usos, King. You can't just call them that.
Oh, God. Rob's missing this.
No, I'm not.
Okay, there you are.
Like, McMahon is talking so much that JR just can't even fucking talk. And, like... So King suggests that, like, Fat 2 uses Raid for armpit deodorant.
I actually don't mind that one.
After no selling a DDT from Triple H, you did it wrong. Triple H does win with a pedigree.
Have we introduced that gimmick yet of talking about how Jake Roberts is the only person who knows how to properly do a DDT?
So Hunter rolls out, and King hands him a mic and pretty much asks him... He pretty much tries to get the joke he made just earlier with the Raid armpit deodorant over with Hunter. And Hunter ignores it, and he's trying to cut an angry Triple H promo, but keeping the accent. So it's like, you. Lawler asks if Triple H knows that Fat 2 smells like a dead skunk. And Triple H is just like, oh, he's very odorous. And coming up behind him very slowly is Henry Godwin with a fucking bucket of slop.
What is in the slop bucket?
Slop.
Like, has Bruce Pritchard ever revealed what?
Not yet. I'm on episode 7, and currently it's an uncomfortable discussion about like Chris Benoit dying. So.
Wow. I know that at one point there's a long... I don't know if this is just rumor or not, that one time the slop bucket was filled with shit, and that was for Sonny. But I don't know what else the slop bucket has ever had.
So yeah, pretty much Henry Godwin just chases Hunter out of the arena with a bucket of slop. And then we cut to the back with British Bulldog and Jimmy Corndog.
What?
Jim Cornette.
Oh.
Because British Bulldog is being managed by Jim Cornette. And, they talk about their match. I didn't really point out anything here. But we do have the next segment coming up, which is the Smoking Guns versus 1-2-3 Kid and Scott Hall. First of all, I noticed that Scott Hall exclusively calls Vince McMahon Mr. McMahon because he's Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
He's still doing the Cuban accent.
Sean Waltman here, no chin. Scott Hall drunk meter. He had one beer and doing finger guns at Billy and Bart Gunn.
He's not doing the spooky fingers?
No, but Waltman did do the too sweet. Sean Waltman's good. Like, I didn't realize this when I was younger. Sean Waltman's really fucking good.
Oh, you got like Sean Waltman after he had all like gotten broken down in the ring.
Yeah.
And on drugs.
And on a lot of drugs. No, he could fucking go. Like, it was mostly a match of Razor Ramon just kind of sitting around waiting because he's got a match later tonight. And 1-2-3 Kid doing a lot of the work. I remember there was this one thing where they like cut to Dean Douglas just sitting in a classroom taking notes of this match that he was watching.
Oh, yeah, I seem to remember that.
Also, there was a missed spot that Vince got very angry about, but tried to play it off, where pretty much what happened was Kid got pinned, Scott Hall tried to break it up, but the ref counted to 2, and then couldn't count to 3 because Hall wasn't there yet.
I hate that.
And like he broke up the pin. He broke up the pin with a kick, but Vince was like, "Oh, he kicked out of that before Hall could break it up." Like, he clearly didn't fucking kick out. The ref just stopped counting.
Why didn't he just call the referee crooked?
I don't know. There was an extended segment about pretty much who's holding the tag rope and the ref yelling at both one of the Guns and Scott Hall about holding the fucking tag rope. Hall eventually gets the Razor's Edge, but 1-2-3 Kid wants to do the pin, so he tags out. 1-2-3 Kid goes up for the pin and just gets rolled up and loses.
Wow.
In response to this, 1-2-3 Kid freaks the fuck out. Razor Ramon just hands the Guns the belt and leaves.
Because he's got another match.
We cut to the back and we find Doc Hendricks talking to cardboard cutouts of HBK and Bret Hart.
What?
He talks about how, wouldn't it be sexy to have Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid's cardboard cutout in your house, ladies? What do you think, Bret Hart? And it's like, oh yeah, you can't talk. It was really weird.
Hey, kids. Wouldn't it be great to have Shawn Michaels standing over you while you sleep?
At all times, watching you.
Wouldn't it be great to have Bret Hart judging everything you do?
Doc Hendricks
I do the sharpshooter better than that.
Doc Hendricks telling you ghetto Shawn Michaels Dakimakuras.
I think so. Next up, we've got Marty Jannetty versus Goldust, and I think this is Goldust's debut because they kept saying it was his debut, and I never know with these fucking people. Vince will do this thing where like, he'll say something never happened before, but like if you have basic knowledge and tapes, you could probably go find instances of that happening. They did something weird with his entrance. He came in with no lights. He just walked in with no lights, and the camera's just flashing, and it hurt my fucking eyes.
Oh yeah,
This is his debut match.
yeah. I figured this is his debut.
Finally, his theme went pretty hard back in the day.
It's a great theme.
He takes off his coat, reveals his bodysuit, and oh lord, he's fat. He is fat. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I forgot Marty Jannetty came out first. Marty Jannetty did come out first, and he looked like shit.
I was about to say, and he's fat.
Here's here's what Marty Jannetty looked like back then. He looked like current day Marty Jannetty, but with hair.
Like I showed you that picture of the Rockers earlier,
and he wore like these strange tassels. Like these strange.
Yes, I do remember that.
Let me see if I can find a picture of him from In
He
Your
looks
House
like
4.
You remember how a couple of years ago in the 2K games they had Undertaker, like younger Undertaker, but it was his current face.
Oh yeah, they also did that with Kurt Angle. Remember like 2001 Kurt Angle, who was like 45.
I think I found one.
And that's what Marty Jannetty looked like at this time.
Yes. Look at Marty Jannetty.
We got like a monkey face.
Goldust he's pretty good. He's just fat looking, weirdly.
I don't know if the gold suit is complimentary.
It's very form fitting. You can see his love handles. You can see his ass.
And yet he still probably looks better than Marty out there.
A little bit. But yeah, fucking I think we made a point that they pointed out that Goldust is 6'6".
Yeah. No,
I don't think he was.
He would have. Honestly, I think like more people have argued that he would have been 6'5" at the time and 6'4" nowadays because he lost an inch.
So Vince keeps trying to get certain phrases for each wrestler over, which is something I noticed and something that a lot of the commentators nowadays do because Vince is shouting in their ear. He tries to do this like verbal tick thing where like you associate certain words with certain wrestlers, like little phrases, little statements like bizarre or big dog or later on with Diesel, Big Daddy Cool. He would just repeat them over and over and over and fucking over and over, and he wouldn't stop, and he kept fucking talking the whole goddamn pay-per-view about it. Like, he's trying to associate these catchphrases with people, or like these little catch syllables or catch statements about each of his wrestlers, and it's fucking annoying. I hate it.
Look at him. He's bizarre. He's
bizarre. He's androgynous.
It's really just, it's like that with Vince.
Lawler spends this whole match shitting on Canada. This match is a little bit on the long side and it drags towards the end, but it was pretty good. Lawler kept saying Bela Lugosi was in the crowd watching Goldust wrestle. And, well, first of all, Bela Lugosi's dead. Second,
undead.
And second of all, they cut to someone in the crowd and it's just a guy with like fake makeup on his face. I think it was because it was near Halloween or something.
Yeah, first of all,
which is weird because in Canada, don't they celebrate Halloween later? Do they even celebrate Halloween in Canada?
I was about to make a joke about Bela Lugosi dealing Goldust drugs, but I'm pretty sure Goldust didn't have a heroin habit.
So, Goldust beats Marty Jannetty. I don't think he had a finisher. He just sort of beat him with like a cutter.
Huh. They hadn't yet worked out the final cut. Okay.
And then we cut to the weird reoccurring segment on this show. the WWF hotline, where you see footage of a sad-looking 123 Kid and a annoyed-looking Razor Ramon talking on a big red telephone with the phone number 1-900-727-4-WWF.
I wonder if that's the same big red phone that Stu Hart called Cornette on, asking why Diana looks like a bird.
What?
It's a story about how, like, during like the Diana or the Shawn Michaels British Bulldog thing, and Shawn like hitting on Diana or something.
I
Or
don't
Diana
know if
coming
I
on
want to.
Shawn.
I don't know if I want to call 1-900-727-4-WWF.
I mean,
We called
it might
1-9
work.
Godfather last week. We called.
If that didn't work, this is an actual 1-900 number.
Yeah,
so
it might charge me.
it might actually charge you. I mean, let's be honest. How many minutes do you have on your phone?
1,200.
I think you can handle calling 1-900-727-4WF.
It's gonna be a sex line, so don't.
Mega Fighter, do I have to be the phone guy every week?
You're much more composed than I am on telephone calls.
Fine, we're doing this, fine.
All right.
Okay. Let's get... Alright, everyone calm down. We're gonna get it on speaker. First of all, I gotta type the phone number. So we got... I gotta turn it up for comedic effect, hold on. I'm kind of a boomer when it comes to phones, if you guys haven't noticed.
Okay, I heard that.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I don't hear the... Is it dialing? Oh.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
God damn it, okay, fine.
Well, that's disappointing.
They had another number for, like, buying a shirt, but I don't remember that line.
Well,
anyway, we got a recap of Undertaker got injured by King Mabel and will be returning at at Survivor Series because Mabel is a klutzy fuck and pretty much blew out Taker's orbital bone on a leg drop.
Yep.
Thus bringing this match. King Mabel versus Yokozuna. Dear fucking
no.
God.
This is why you picked the show, isn't it?
Yes.
In a match of who's fatter.
Yokozuna by a long shot. He was almost 700 pounds at this time.
He was out of the svelte era of Yokozuna.
So, first of all,
I think we should point out that Yokozuna at one point in time was an amazing wrestler.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic.
And actually in shape.
He could fucking go for his big ass, but he got super fat. And first of all, there was a segment with Jim Cornette, who's also managing Yokozuna for some reason.
Yeah, they had him manage Yokozuna because Fuji couldn't. It took so long for Mr. Fuji to get to the ring that the match was half over by the time he got there.
So
also,
which is impressive when you got Yokozuna.
So they had Jim Cornette talking, and then they would just zoom into Yokozuna's face, and he had a beard. And they would just zoom into his face and hold it there for like a minute, then zoom out. Jim Cornette tries to get back in frame, and then they zoom back into Yokozuna's face again, and he's doing nothing. Except for like doing that kind of like holding his lips to his nose kind of look.
The sneer.
Yeah. Anyway, first comes Mabel, led by, I believe it was Sir Mo, because he won King of the Ring recently. And King Mabel, with his king hat, crown, king hat, kind of on the side of his head, on a throne, being carried by 4 very unhappy-looking men.
I think 2 of them might have been the Hardys. These are definitely developmental guys, but
And you could see it was like clearly leaning to one side because the guy couldn't hold up fucking King Mabel, and they looked so not happy.
I would have laughed so hard if you told me that it collapsed under the weight.
just falls through the fucking thing.
Jim Cornette coming out loving those big Yokozuna titties. Yokozuna could barely get up the fucking stairs. He was massive. His ass is so goddamn big that you could see when King Mabel walked that you could see fucking Yokozuna's booty ripple on each step of King Mabel, and it was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. The cameraman got in there.
I think Undertaker once described Yokozuna sitting down as like, standing up, he's only so tall, but sitting down, the size of his ass is so big that he towers over you sitting down.
But yes, he completely stretched out his like red trunks he's known for wearing to the point that you could just see every chunk of ass and butt and thigh that Yokozuna possessed.
Holy shit.
The amount of swamp ass going on in this match. Because Mabel's wearing this big purple trash bag over like a bodysuit.
My muffler fell out, Eddie.
Thank God they're in Canada, and it's fucking winter time or fall. If they did this at SummerSlam, my God, the smell.
McMahon and King spent this whole match shitting on how fat they were. Like, talking about gravitational pull and fucking feeling earthquakes and shit.
I mean, that's all you've got at this point.
I feel like Vince is trying to send a fucking message here.
They couldn't do anything with each other. Like, I told Mega Fighter while I was watching this, he didn't know what I was watching specifically, but I told him about the Yokozuna Mabel match.
I think he mentioned, like, there was a match with just so much fat, and I knew that it was, like, Mabel versus Yokozuna. And I genuinely was like, I couldn't remember the pay-per-view it was attached to.
These guys couldn't do anything against each other. Neither of them could lift each other. Neither of them could run. Neither of them could climb anything. They were just punching each other and really slowly running the ropes.
And maybe slapping each other's titties.
And slapping each other's titties. And every leg drop they did missed. And there was a moment. There was a moment where King Mabel pushed fucking Yokozuna off the apron and then just jumped down, and I've never been more afraid in my life because I thought his fucking shitty little legs were going to explode.
Because we saw that dude with the fucking Wolfpack music playing behind him when his legs like fucking like folded on themselves.
Oh, that backyard guy?
The backyard guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ali was thinking he was gonna get a repeat of that.
Anyway, more big fat guys fucking jostling and wobbling like you're slapping two big bowls of fucking Jell-O.
I was getting ready to say, you already said leg drop, so that answered my question, but I was like, could either of them bump?
That happens for a little bit. Cornette tries to like run in and help Yokozuna, and Yokozuna fucking falls on Cornette.
Oh no.
And pins him to the ground as Cornette fears for his goddamn life, and the match ends in a double countout.
God damn it.
And what happens afterward? They hug. Yokozuna and Mabel hug.
Do they get a crane to remove Yokozuna from Jim Cornette?
He got off eventually. I think Jim Cornette was 35% flatter when he got back in the ring.
Right.
Anyway,
so match of the night.
The main event was sponsored by Milton Bradley Karate Fighters, but it is not the main event just yet.
That was Ali shouted 90s alert when he saw Milton Bradley Karate Fighters. For those who don't know, Milton Bradley karate fighters were basically like Rock'em Sock'em robots.
They were Rock'em Sock'em robots, except instead of throwing hooks and uppercuts, they would just fucking like high kick each other. And it looked terrible.
They plugged this a lot during like 1995 WWF. It was weird.
Anyway, we have this segment with Dean Douglas coming out as Shawn Michaels, who is wearing a blue leather coat with yellow and red checkerboard patterns on it.
Yes.
Has to go forfeit his title, and he looks very sad about it. Also, he looks vaguely fucked up by the sailor who kicked his ass. Slash sailor.
It was a Marine.
Or sailors. I'm trying to make a fucking Shenmue joke. Calm down.
Sailors and Marines are very different people, and I'm fairly certain we're gonna have a Marine coming in on us.
If you ask any member of the Navy, the Marines are part of the Navy.
There's gonna be a Marine fucking yelling at both of you.
Well, shut up, John Cena. Anyway,
the Miz is gonna yell at us.
I was about to say, with our luck, it's the Miz.
Anyway, I found it really weird that Shawn had to relinquish the title specifically to Dean Douglas. So this just counts as a title reign for Dean Douglas. You think it would be vacated and then Dean Douglas would fight Scott Hall over it because Scott Hall's double booked this night? But no, I guess...
Isn't this the burial of Dean Douglas where he gets the title and then immediately loses it?
Oh yeah, he loses it immediately.
I wonder if he was given like a number one contendership or something. Like this was a planned match and then they had to change it. I don't know.
Anyway, this is one of the last two matches, and I started to peter out a little bit because I'd sort of like, they started getting worse after the two big fat boy battle that happened.
After that, you were just done.
It's hard to imagine that Shane Douglas versus, he's Dean Douglas, but Shane Douglas versus Scott Hall.
Here's the thing:
would be
Razor Ramon was already exhausted from the fucking match that he just did an hour ago, and also being on the WWE hotline that doesn't work. Come on, guys! I want to talk to Scott Hall. I want to talk to Sean Waltman. I want to ask how he's doing. How's you asshole?
Hey man, have you ever considered entering a Dave Grohl lookalike contest?
You probably make second.
After Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl won the Dave Grohl lookalike contest.
No, Dave Grohl would come in third.
Oh yeah. So Scott Hall's already tired and works half this match doing rest holds. Eventually, the match finally picks up, and they start getting over on each other. And eventually, Hall wins by pretty much, like, they're collapsed on top of each other. And Razor Ramon just sort of, like, lands in a way where his leg and arm are over Dean Douglas's arm and leg. And that's the pin.
Wow. No wonder Shane Douglas left WWF pissed off.
Anyway, Shawn Michaels is on the WWF hotline. He's got one of his eyes is black, and one of them has like blood in it, and he's got like a sad little look on his kind of small face.
You say it's the WWF hotline, but is he actually negotiating how many somas he can give for a blowjob?
Man, I wanted to call Shawn Michaels and ask him how many Marines it was that kicked his ass.
So Bret Hart comes out, and the crowd just goes nuclear, even though they've been dead all fucking night. Because, Bret Hart is God. So, God of wrestling and leg locks, Bret Hart.
God of Canada, Bret Hart.
He decides to join on commentary, which is not the greatest thing for him to be on, but whatever.
Oh.
But currently,
no.
But Doc Hendricks is trying to sell a very ugly Shawn Michaels and Diesel shirt with two bad boys on the front.
I thought, wasn't it dudes with attitude?
Yeah, two dudes with attitude.
But okay, Bret Hart's on commentary.
They had a hotline to buy the shirt, but I didn't write it down.
We'll go back for it later.
They put Bret Hart on commentary, so what's the main event?
Yeah, it's Diesel and British Bulldog for the WWF Championship.
I like half of this match.
This doesn't
That's
sound
not
like
the half.
This doesn't sound like a bad match.
It's
on paper,
Big
Diesel
Daddy.
wasn't.
It's a Big Daddy Cool Diesel, the big man, the big bad attitude man, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Hong Kong Diesel.
Diesel needed really good wrestlers.
And you're saying that Davey Boy isn't a really good wrestler?
He is a really good wrestler. He's not what I would call a ring general, though.
Brett looked out of his goddamn mind.
Well, when he's not drugged out to the gourd.
Yeah.
Or Brett looked like he was bored out of his goddamn mind. Really early on, after a pretty hot start and a pretty sick outside dive by Davey Boy, we kind of end up with Kevin Nash strains something, and now his speed has gone from can kinda run to holy fuck. He is so goddamn slow and sluggish, and this match just dies.
Oh no, tore my quad again.
I don't think he tore his quad, but I did think he strained it.
He wouldn't be able to work at all if he tore his quad.
I think he strained it because he could barely fucking move, and they spent half this match laying in the ring, and the cheers for Bret Hart just slowly turned into just chatter and just woo.
I mean, up until the modern era, Diesel was the worst drawing WWF champion.
Bulldog puts in a sharpshooter, and Bret just goes, I need to show him how to put it on right. That's not how you put it on. You didn't put on the sharpshooter right. And then Vince McMahon would be like, yeah, but he's strong, so it makes up for that. And it's like, no, that's not how you do the sharpshooter. You're not leaning back all the way.
And Vince McMahon quietly thinks of how he can fire Bret.
Eventually, Bulldog just comes out and slaps Bret Hart in the face.
So that's where that's going.
So Bret Hart just runs into the ring and starts punching him, and it ends in a DQ after 18 minutes. This match went on for 18 minutes!
It ends in DQ.
It ends in a fucking DQ! There's a big pull-apart brawl as the fucking timekeeper keeps ringing the bell over and over and over again.
I hate when they do that. I hate when timekeepers...
And that's how we end the pay-per-view!
We get it.
I get it. There's a fucking Bret Hart feud that you want to do with British Bulldog. You just did a non-title finish after an 18-minute match where I had to watch Diesel drag his slow ass across the ring to fight British Bulldog.
We got your money.
I mean,
after the pay-per-view's over, Vince apparently slammed his headphones down when this is fucking bullshit, screamed at Kevin Nash, and then ran to the back to go yell at Bruce Pritchard some more.
I mean, I was going to say one positive. That's definitely a positive. I would have wanted to witness that. But I was going to say one positive is, did this lead to Bulldog versus Bret at Wembley?
I think so. Wait, no.
That was years ago.
That was before this. They mentioned that.
That was before this?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Fucking Bulldog Bret at Wembley was 92.
Yeah, that was way before this. They mentioned that in the hype package. They mentioned that in the hype. They mentioned that for the. They mentioned that for the hype package where the Mattel Karate Fighters were.
So this didn't lead to that.
And I'll say the first two matches were good TV quality matches. They all went over 10 minutes for the most part. And then Yokozuna versus Maple happened, and then I felt my soul die.
Match of the night.
I felt my soul die.
Match of the night.
So much jiggling.
Commence the jiggling.
Commence the jiggling.
Trying to do the sound of jiggly skin.
Anyway,
I'm going to send in an email to Jim Cornette's podcast asking how it felt to be squished by Yokozuna.
that was our first episode of So Let Me Tell You About. If you guys like it, we'll do more. If you don't like it, we'll burn this in a fire. Follow us at Wrastleboys on Twitter. Also, we are Wrastleboys on Spotify, Overcast, some other stuff, Anchor.
Not iTunes.
Not iTunes. I'll fix that later. Don't worry. YouTube.com. You could probably find it if you Googled it. I don't.
I'm stealing Big E's gimmick. Don't follow me.
Slick Rob, you can follow at.
No, you can find my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/SlickRob.
You can watch him.
Don't subscribe to his Twitch channel.
You can watch him get cucked by his girlfriend.
Do not subscribe to my Twitch channel. Do not ring the bell. Do not follow.
You can't find me.
You
Ever.
can't find me.
Yes, you can. You can find him in your bushes, watching you with binoculars.
You can find me in your house 4.
So I gotta head off and scrape the image of Yokozuna's ass cheeks out of my brain.
I gotta go off and continue to plant the image of Yokozuna's ass cheeks into his brain.
And I'm gonna go jiggle.
So as we always say,